affordable housing. The president, when he last addressed Parliament on 29th of September, did speak about electricity, that the government shall facilitate the development of innovative and effective modalities to provide better off-grid systems, including enabling consumers to form small cooperatives for that purpose. We may perhaps revisit this and update the country on what has been done so far. And it is not just about infrastructural development. The president will update the country on what is being done to ensure that Kenyans uphold our national values. Those are some of the things that the head of state is expected to address in his speech this afternoon to this joint sitting of Parliament. In his previous address, he did speak about health, where he said that Kenya is bound by duty to take measures to make universal health coverage a reality and liberate Kenyans and their families from the threat harrowing poverty that stalks them every time a family member falls seriously ill. In the plan, then, he said that through the support of Parliament and through the support of all Kenyans, the government will restructure the primary healthcare system so that it puts more resources into promotive, preventive, and early diagnosis of diseases. That is one of the agendas of the Kenya Kwanza administration, and we did see a number of steps being taken both by the executive as well as Parliament to ensure that this is achieved, the universal health coverage is achieved in the country. When he also addressed Parliament last time, he did talk about the realization of the National Health Insurance Fund, whose restructuring is not only necessary for efficiency but also enables it become a fit-for-purpose social insurance scheme that caters for all, including chronic diseases. An update of that, of course, Kenyans are expecting this afternoon. The president also did address issues to do with digital technologies, which he said have become a critical player in economic growth. And what we have seen, what Kenyans have seen in the last couple of months is the steps which are being taken by the president, of course, through the cabinet secretary for information, communication, and the digital highway, digital economy, I beg your pardon, to ensure that the country is connected digitally. The president promised to capitalize on existing technology and innovation in public and private sector to distribute the Hustler Fund as promised in the Kenya Kwanza Manifesto. And he did call upon financial institutions and Kenya's young generation in innovation hubs to participate in the digital economy by redesigning their products to serve the goal of empowering millions armed with grand ideas and are only waiting for the fund to finance their dreams to reality. So Kenyans are expecting the head of state to announce the steps being taken to ensure that this is achieved. The State of the Nation address will begin anytime now, but the president is within the precincts of Parliament, and he will be making his way into the chambers accompanied by the Speaker of the Senate and the Speaker of the National Assembly. That is Honorable Moses Wetangula and Honorable Amason Kingi, respectively. They will be leading and they will be accompanying the head of state as he makes his way into the chamber to address this joint sitting and, of course, to address the nation at large. This is the State of the Nation address, and it takes place at least once or twice in a year, and it is an address that is being awaited with bated breath. Kenyans want the head of state to update them on what is being done to ensure that issues to do with the cost of living are addressed. There is some activity at the door. The members who are still within the precincts of Parliament are making their way into the chambers, and any moment now we do expect the head of state, accompanied by the speakers of Parliament, to walk into the chambers to allow this process to take place. Now, there will be a prayer by the Speaker of the Senate, and then there will be convocation by the Speaker of the Senate and by the Speaker of the National Assembly. The Speaker of the National Assembly will invite His Excellency the President to make his address. After, the head of state will address the House, and after that there will be an adjournment by the Speaker of the Senate and by the Speaker of the National Assembly. It is not the first time that this is happening. Kenyans have witnessed such occasions before, and what perhaps will vary is the content of that address. Every year, Kenya experiences unique challenges and unique types of progress, and that is what Kenyans are now waiting for, to hear what the head of state has to say regarding the state of this great nation. When he addressed this sitting in 2022, he committed and said that he was determined to ensure that Kenya's tax system is responsive to the needs of the economy. The head of state said that the tax system must be equitable, efficient, and customer-friendly. He did say that the economic principles of equitable taxation require that the tax burden reflects ability to pay. He said that this is best achieved by a hierarchy that taxes wealth, consumption, income, and trade in that order of preference. He said that Kenya's tax regime then fell short of that. The president said that the government then was overtaxing trade and undertaxing wealth. He did promise to propose tax measures that begin to move Kenya in the right direction. What is the status of this? Kenyans are perhaps going to be asking those questions and hoping that they will be answered this afternoon when the head of state makes that address. And he also said in his previous address to Parliament that the government will work with the Kenya Revenue Authority on a culture change to make it a people-friendly, customer-centric organization. He was of the view that it should be renamed to the Kenya Revenue Service in line with the proposed transformation. What is the status of that? Kenyans are waiting for the president to address that, perhaps. There on your screen are a number of members seated, and on your screen there is the corridor that is leading to the National Assembly chamber. On the wall on your right are the portraits of the former Speaker of the National Assembly, who is currently the Attorney General, Honorable Justin Muturi, and the far right is the current Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Moses Wetangula. On your screen is the Sergeant at Arms, followed by the maces. That is on the right, the mace of the National Assembly, on the left, the mace of the Senate carried there, and the clerk of the Senate, and followed by the president, accompanied by the speakers of the National Assembly and the Senate. I will now hand you over for this live broadcast of this special sitting of Parliament. The bicameral House is sitting this afternoon for the State of the Nation address. My name is Edward Kabasa. Enjoy your viewing.
Hiyo imekuwa ni bendi na Rais William Ruto.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, the Right Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly, honorable members, let us pray. Almighty God, we beseech you to behold with abundant favor and blessings us, your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to leadership positions in this republic. We seek guidance to treat and consider all matters that shall come under deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to advance the peace, prosperity and welfare of our country and of those whose interests we've committed to our charge. Amen. You may be seated. Order, honorable members. Your Excellency, the Honorable Dr. William Samoei Ruto, CGH, President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defense Forces, the Right Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly, the Honorable Moses Wetangula, AGH, MP, honorable members of Parliament. Article 132(1) of the Constitution of Kenya requires the President to address the special sitting of Parliament of Kenya once every year and at any other time. Further, Article 132(1)(c) requires the President to, among others, once every year, report in an address to the nation all the measures taken and the progress achieved in the realization of the national values set out in Article 10 of the Constitution. In addition, Article 240, subsection 7 of the Constitution requires the President, in his capacity as the chairperson of the National Security Council, to report to Parliament annually on the state of the security of the Republic. In this regard, therefore, pursuant to Article 132(1)(b) and C1 and 2 of the Constitution, the Presidency, via the letter reference number OP/CAP.26/4A, Volume 2/52, informed the Speakers of the Houses of Parliament of the intention of His Excellency the President to deliver his address to Parliament. Consequently, pursuant to Standing Order number 25(1) and 2 of the Senate, I gave notice of today's special sitting to the Honorable Senators by Gazette Notice number 14716, which was published in the Kenya Gazette on Friday, 3rd November 2023. Accordingly, honorable members, this special sitting is properly convened. I thank you.
Your Excellency, Honorable Dr. William Samoei Ruto, CGH, President of the Republic of Kenya, and Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defense Forces. The Right Honorable Amason Kingi, EGH MP, Honorable Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Members of Parliament, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Article 132(1)(b) of the Constitution of Kenya requires the President to address the nation once every year and at any other time. Further, Article 132(1)(c) requires the President to once every year report in an address to the nation on measures taken and progress achieved in the realization of our national values. Additionally, Article 132(1)(c) Roman 3 of the Constitution provides that the President shall submit a report for debate to the National Assembly on the progress made in fulfilling the international obligations of the Republic. In this regard, honorable members, by way of a message to the House dated 26 September 2023, His Excellency the President conveyed his desire to address a joint sitting of the Houses of Parliament today, 9th November 2023. Therefore, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 22 of the National Assembly Standing Orders, and by Gazette Notice number 14715, which was published in the Kenya Gazette on 3rd November 2023, I gave notice of this special sitting of Parliament to the members of the National Assembly. Accordingly, honorable members, this special sitting is properly convened. Your Excellency, in the custom of Parliament, we recognize invited guests seated in our galleries. I therefore wish to recognize the following guests who are seated in the Speaker's row. Her Excellency Rachel Ruto, EGH, First Lady of the Republic of Kenya, and other members of the First Family. His Excellency Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, EGH, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya and the spouse of the Deputy President, Her Excellency Pastor Dorcas Rigathi. The Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, EGH, the Prime Cabinet Secretary and Minister of Foreign Affairs. Your Excellency, honorable members, also present in the Speaker's row this afternoon are the Honorable Lady Justice Martha Koome, EGH, Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court, Her Lady Justice Philomena Mbete Mwilu, MGH, Deputy Chief Justice and Vice President of the Supreme Court. They are accompanied by Honorable Justice Eric Ogola, Principal Judge, the High Court, Honorable Justice Oscar Angote, Presiding Judge, Environmental and Land Court, and Honorable Justice Brian Ongaya, MBS, Principal Judge, Employment and Labor Relations Code. We are similarly pleased to host the former Vice President of the Republic, the Honorable Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, AGH, who is also the co-chair of the National Dialogue Committee. We are also honored to have in our midst the immediate former speakers of the Houses of Parliament, the Honorable Justin B.N. Muturi, EGH, who is the current Attorney General of the Republic, and the Honorable Kenneth Lusaka, EGH, the Governor of Bungoma County. Your Excellency, allow me to also recognize the Chairperson of the Council of Governors, who is also the Governor of Kirinyaga County, the Honorable Anne Waiguru, EGH, and the Honorable Johnson Sakaja, Governor of Nairobi City County. May I also accord special recognition to all Cabinet Secretaries present, Mr. Felix Kosgei, Chief of Staff and Head of Public Service, Principal Secretaries, members of the Diplomatic Corps, and heads of constitutional commissions and independent offices present in Parliament today. Your Excellency, I wish to make a special mention of the Chief of the Kenya Defence Forces, General Francis Ogola, and the respective service commanders, the Inspector General of Police, and other leaders of our disciplined forces who are seated at the Speaker's row. We are grateful for their distinguished service to the nation. To all invited guests, karibuni sana kwa bunge. Honorable members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my singular honor and privilege to invite His Excellency the President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defence Forces to address this special sitting of Parliament. Welcome, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, honorable members. I arise before this distinguished assembly of the democratically elected representatives of the people of Kenya to discharge my constitutional function under Article 132(1)(c). The occasion requires me to give an account to the people of Kenya, the measures taken by their government under my leadership, and to give full expression and effect to the soul of our constitutional dispensation by implementing the national values and principles of governance set out in Article 10 of our Constitution. I have a substantial report to give on the progress made in fulfilling this solemn covenant, and that the journey of transforming Kenya for the benefit of present and future generations is fully underway. Its positive effect have also begun to bear fruit across many sectors of our national endeavor, from the grassroots all the way to this capital of Nairobi. On the 13th September 2022, last year, when I took office, I undertook to ensure the urgent transformation of our economy and to stop and reverse the negative trends of runaway unemployment, yawning inequality, and widespread poverty, which have denied Kenyans their dignity and extinguished their dreams. The mass appeal of the bottom-up economic transformation agenda was due in large part to the fact that its development and articulation, as well as its content and implementation strategy, represented our national values in action. It was inclusive, democratic, committed to social justice and the protection of the marginalized. Our commitment to bring the national values and principles of governance to life in order to significantly enhance the well-being of every individual and promote the unity, stability, security, and development of our country began long before the last election and will endure well beyond our term. It has been my manifest intention to live up to all the commitments set out in the plan, and despite enormous challenges and tremendous difficulties, we have made encouraging progress in a positive direction. This has not only vindicated our philosophy of inclusive transformation in pursuit of shared prosperity, but it has also increased our confidence that we are on the right path and shall, in due course, deliver the transformation of our nation in full. It is important for us to point out that we began the implementation of our mandate to transform Kenya's economy from the bottom up under extreme difficult circumstances, not to excuse failure or to justify inability or omission to do the necessary work. Not at all. Rather, we do it to emphasize the significance of our progress, underscore the possibility of transformation under daunting conditions, and express well-founded confidence that when sufficient progress is made, we shall do much more and go much further in delivering the Kenya we want for our generations and also for posterity. In our plan, we identified 3 primary challenges: external shocks, fiscal distress, and structural imbalance that heavily strained our economy, causing nationwide difficulty. The COVID-19 pandemic, coupled with global supply chain disruptions and geopolitical conflicts, significantly raised inflation and interest rates, adversely affecting our economy, while low agricultural investment and a prolonged drought led to food shortages and made Kenya a net importer of food in a volatile international market. It was under conditions of such extreme difficulty that the people of Kenya entrusted us with the responsibility of simultaneously generating effective solutions to immediate problems, providing a credible pathway to stability in the medium term, and undertaking long-term structural transformation of our economy, but in a manner which paid attention to the needs and aspirations of Kenyans, especially those at the bottom of the pyramid. The transformation of our economy is not only desirable and important, it is also necessary and urgent. And the people of Kenya have made this clear at every opportunity. Our duty as leaders is to listen keenly and comply with the people's wishes. Kenyans want to proceed in a new direction and demand a new conversation that puts ordinary Kenyans, the mama mboga's security, well-being, interests, and aspirations at the front and center of all policy and governance discourse. Citizen freedoms and fundamental rights lie at the heart of enterprise and democracy. Accordingly, our governance system must be fit for purpose, able to protect people and their belongings, safeguard freedom, facilitate democracy, and promote market efficiency. To do this, law enforcement must be robust, judicial integrity, efficiency and independence, absolute, and the right to the protection of law non-negotiable and impartial. Our police service and other actors in the justice, law, and order chain, including the judiciary, must therefore be professional, independent, impartial, effective, and inspired by national values and principles of governance. In keeping with our promise to the people of Kenya, I signed important instruments on my first day on duty. Among them, the delayed appointments of 6 judges to the Court of Appeal as recommended by the Judicial Service Commission. Enhanced allocation through this House to the judiciary by 3 billion Kenya shillings. Designated the Inspector General, who is sitting in this House as the accounting officer of the National Police Service to enhance police independence, and subsequently appointed a task force led by the former Chief Justice David Maraga to review the terms and conditions of service of members of the National Police Service. This was necessary, members, so that we can cement our place as a nation on the firm foundation of the rule of law. Together with the people of Kenya, we have changed everything. We have transformed the national political conversation from personalities to issues, from regional or ethnic largesse to opportunities for all our young people, from divisions to inclusion, and from status quo to the bottom-up economic transformation for shared prosperity. To date, Kenyans remain fully seized of the agenda, engaging vigorously and with unrelenting focus on expanding agricultural productivity to deal with the cost of living, affordable housing to create enterprise, jobs, and dignified dwellings, universal health coverage for a healthy, productive nation, and digital transformation to create e-commerce, create jobs, and make government efficient, effective, and accessible, especially government services. Also, fintechs, including the Hustler Fund, have benefited from the space around technology and the digital transformation. By virtue of the internal coherence of our constitutional dispensation, national values and principles of governance set out core directive precepts whose observance imbues every decision and action with implicit constitutionality. To the extent that our plan is aligned with Article 43, the implementation of the bottom-up economic transformation agenda is a program to intensify the actualization of national values with a special focus on citizens at the bottom of the pyramid. From the first day in office, we have worked hard every day to move our agenda forward amid many challenges to forge a path in the direction of progress. This is the essence of our commitment, to make progress despite challenges and move forward by overcoming great obstacles. We must never be defined by our problems, and Kenya's destiny cannot be derailed by our challenges. Honorable members, the cost of living is not an abstract phenomenon. It is a reality experienced by households, which can be addressed through practical action and effective measures. One of the most salient interventions in addressing the high cost of living is the strategy to support agricultural production throughout the sector, ranging from food and cash crops as well as livestock value chains. I am committed to put the shame of hunger behind us once and for all. We rolled out a countrywide farmer registration and fertilizer subsidy program that has made available 5.5 million bags to farmers across Kenya. We have progressively reduced the cost of fertilizer from 6,500 to 2,500, increased maize acreage under production by an extra 200,000 acres this year, and enhanced maize production by an additional 18 million bags this year. As a result of these interventions, today, a 2-kilogram packet of maize flour is selling at a low of 145 and a high of 175, depending on the brand you buy, down from 250 shillings a few months ago. The famous gorogoro of maize is selling at between 60 and 75. Honorable members, you know how much it costed a few months ago. We have also established 22 new fish landing sites in 9 counties in Nyanza and the Coast region. We have funded and organized beach management units into cooperatives, set up 2 hatcheries in Kabonyo in Kisumu County and in Shimoni in Kwale County. And we are in the process of completing Liwatoni fish processing plant in Mombasa by end of next month, and Shimoni Fish Port by the end of next year. Again, to bring our blue economy resources into the realm of food production. To achieve efficiency, transparency, and accuracy in fertilizer distribution, we enrolled farmers on a digital register with accurate details of the location and acreage of their agricultural land holdings. This database enabled us to implement an e-voucher system through which farmers receive their fertilizer consignments for planting and top dressing of maize, tea, coffee, rice, potatoes, cotton, edible oils, sugarcane across the country. Our farmers are the best people to speak about the success of the fertilizer program. Yesterday, I spoke to several farmers in different parts of the country. Ms. Alice Nato, a single mother in a place called Milo in Bungoma, told me that the 2,500 fertilizer had doubled the yield in her farm from 52 bags of maize last year to 120 bags of maize this year. Another farmer, Mr. Albert Munyi from Embu, appreciated the impact of fertilizer subsidy had in his farm and asked me to work out a way that the fertilizer can be delivered closer to the farmers rather than at the National Cereals and Produce Board depot. I assured him that I will work with the governor of Embu and with all governors to actualize his proposal for him and for other farmers who believe the same. But it was Mr. Samuel Chacha of Kuria who graphically painted the picture of transformation the fertilizer